But I just wanted to thank everybody for coming tonight. We have Hilary Brown. She's going to talk to us tonight and just share with us her success that she's had so far as a coach. So this is literally her third month. She signed up right at the end of whatever 3 months ago was, right at the end of the month. So that was her grace month with Beachbody as far as the Success Starters program goes. But then she's gotten over Success Club 10 every month since then. So for the past 3 months, and she already has 14 points this month. And I'm just so proud of her. I remember when one thing that you said, Hilary, that stood out to me when you first started is that you said that you were decided that you were going to give it a year, and that you knew that you were going to have ups and downs, and you were going to do your best to push through and make it work. And that is exactly what leaders in this business decide to do. And so I'm so excited to hear what you have to say. So I'm just going to, I am going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited that you guys asked me to do this. But I do want to forewarn everybody, I talk really fast and it's not even a nervous trait. So I'm going to try and work on that. But usually when I'm talking, I'll think about it consciously and then I forget about it and just speed up. So if I'm going too fast, just let me know. I want to say too, I'm really proud to be a part of this team. I'm really glad that Laura kept on me about the coaching opportunity, because it did take me a few months to think about it and sign up. I was one of those people. Yeah, but I'm really proud to be a part of this team. And because just for months I was dead set that I wanted to be a health coach for a long time, but I was dead set that I wasn't going to sign up through Beachbody, which is funny. So I'm just glad that I did it. But the things that that Laura does, that everybody does, the things that we talk about in these team meetings, as far as like recruiting and posting, those are the things that I just try and do. Those are the things that, are what convinced me to sign up, seeing Laura's posts and hearing all the stories. I mean, I kept seeing those and they just stayed in my head. So I got to say, like, yeah, the things we talk about in these meetings, those are what I try and implement those, because that's what convinced me to do it. So I feel nervous having to follow last week's team call because it was such a good one. I was kind of in a slump that day and feeling really unmotivated. I'm not going to lie. So that call was kind of just what I needed, and I almost wasn't able to make it. I almost had to go to Denver. So I was excited about that, but that was kind of another aha moment. Like I said, I couldn't make it. And when I first signed up as a coach, I'm not going to lie, these team calls weren't something that I was like looking for. I don't know. They felt kind of like an interruption to my night. I won't even lie. But I kept tuning in, and I just didn't realize they were important as they were. So I'm glad that I kept doing it. And I've learned so much throughout all of them, all the different tips that you guys have given us. And I just try my best to do those. So these calls really are beneficial. I realize that now, and I fully believe that. So I'll just give you guys, for those of you that don't know me, I'll give you a little bit of background on myself. I grew up in a really tiny town in eastern Montana. Like, I graduated with 17 kids, tiny, and I can still tell you all of their birthdays. So I was not in sports because I just wasn't coordinated, and physical activity was never my cup of tea. I hated it. So I was terrible. I was always like the slowest kid in the class, last picked in PE. I literally dreaded PE and the required elementary school track meets so bad that I'd make myself sick. So this is definitely still new to me. I remember being in junior high and like longing for the day that junior year would come around, because then PE wasn't required anymore. Like my friend Brittany Beach, you know her. We actually left school one day without getting signed out, because we knew that there was this physical test in gym class that day. So we just left school without getting signed out. We got suspended for 2 days for it. So yeah, this is physical activity and exercise has not always been something I've enjoyed. So I wasn't active in sports, but my dad made us work a lot. We lived on a farm, and he was a contractor who owned his own business. So we were always having to go to work with my dad. We had to go out and pitch hay to the calves in the morning before school. We had a huge lawn on the farm. So that was my brother and I's jobs to mow that in the summer. We had to go, in the summer, he'd always be re-roofing houses and building pole barns and things like that. And we always had to go help him with that. So it was really physically demanding. But although since I can remember, I've always been self-conscious of my body and my weight. I can't remember a time where I was never okay with myself, but I was never actually overweight until I got to college. We only had 2 or 3 restaurants in the town that I grew up in. So when, depending on what time of the year, like in the winter, 2 of them weren't even open. So on top of that, our family lived 13 miles out of town on a farm. So we never went out to eat like people did nowadays. We always cooked at home. My parents were really old fashioned in that way. They just like eating out was a major treat. I think we seriously probably went out to eat like once a month growing up. My parents weren't health conscious about anything. They let us drink all the soda we wanted. I mean, we had Mountain Dew available all the time to us. We cooked with margarine, which I cringe at now, but we home cooked all of our meals. And I think that's what helped me a lot. So although, you know, they weren't health conscious, again, we made everything from scratch. So we were pretty healthy, you know, growing up and stuff like that. It wasn't until I graduated in 2007 and I moved to North Dakota for college. And that's where things started getting really out of hand with my body. My parents weren't around to tell me I couldn't drink beer every night of the week. And I took advantage of that big time. I developed a pretty severe alcohol problem. Actually, my dad almost sent me to rehab a couple of times, even in high school. I was seriously getting blackout drunk probably like 4 or 5 nights a week. I mean, that was in high school and in college. I would sit up after my parents would go to bed and just drink vodka all night. And that continued for years. So then I got to college and we had restaurants. You know, that was a new thing to me. So I took advantage of that. Whatever kind of food I wanted was at my fingertips, I guess, between fast food and working in restaurants and delivery. That was a whole new concept. My freshman year, I ordered Domino's cheesy breadsticks to the dorms like 2 nights a week, and I would eat the whole thing in one sitting. I ate Chinese buffets all the time. I worked at an Applebee's, and after I'd get off work, coworkers and we'd always split the specials, you know, so we'd get bowls of pasta and wings and drink beer all night. I mean, sometimes we'd sit there till 3 or 4 in the morning and drink. So it was bad. I went to, Dairy Queen. I always talk about that. Sugar is my weakness. I ate that a few times a week. You know, you guys get the drift. I mean, I drank soda all the time. I had every bad habit I feel like you could possibly have. So that's why I always say, if I can do it, people really can. Anyone else can do it. I met my husband while working at Applebee's. He was my boss. We moved to Colorado in 2014 to be closer to his girls. And I was 24 at the time, and I was so fed up with my body. I just couldn't stand the way I looked. So it was on the back of my mind constantly how I looked. You know, I felt self-conscious about myself. I cried over it all the time. Clothes shopping was agonizing. I hated it. So I finally got fed up with it and just decided to do something. I bought a cheap exercise bike from Walmart, and I committed to doing that 3 to 4 times a week. That was it. As far as my diet, I knew nothing about nutrition, not like I do now. So I didn't start following any certain diet. I just said that I was going to eat whole foods. So that's what I did. I just basically started cooking for myself and taking food to work rather than eating food at the restaurant. We also had quit smoking when we moved to Colorado. So that part, you know, I didn't have to drop all the bad habits at once, I guess. I had already kind of quit that. So anyway, I stuck with it and I lost about 75 pounds in 15 months. And somewhere along the way, I kind of realized that I was actually interested in nutrition. You know, I really liked the science behind food and how it affects your body. I loved learning about it and just things people don't realize. It made sense, you know, like calories. It's not all about calories. It's ingredients that are in food and how they affect your body. That was kind of a big, I don't know, that was like a light bulb moment for me, you know, finding all those things out. So, you know, you can drink drinks that are 0 calories, but they can wreak havoc on your system because they just have all this chemical crap in them. So just things like that. It was kind of interesting to read that. So I decided I wanted to be a health coach and help other people. And so I signed up with Laura. I think I saw one of her posts on Facebook and I had commented on it. And I'm an all or nothing person. So it's almost like I had to wait a few months and kind of think about it in my head to make sure that I was ready. Because I knew when I signed up, I was going to want to go all out. And I just wasn't going to settle for, I don't know. You know, the way my brain works, I knew I was going to want to do Success Club 10 every month. And if I hit 8, I knew I was going to be bummed. So I just kind of had to be prepared for that. So the first thing that I can start my screen sharing, I guess. So you guys can see that. The first thing that I think, you know, has contributed to my success is I really do try to be consistent in posting. I researched a lot about coaching before I signed up. I Pinterested a ton of stuff before I even signed up with Laura. And one of the things that I kept seeing the most is to make sure you post 3 to 5 times a day. You know, it kept saying you need to be in people's minds. So that's what I try to do. I started to think in terms of posting content too, because before this, I actually really didn't post on Facebook a ton. So that's been tough for me. So everything that I do, all my random thoughts, I really try to just, you know, my realizations, what I'm doing that day, I try and put it all into a post. And I try to put a lot of heart and soul into my posts. I try to be specific about my thoughts and feelings, about my struggles, because I want people to read it and think, oh my God, I'm not the only one that thinks like that. I want them to connect with me. So, I told the story of that one time when I first started working out, I was so out of shape and it was so hard. I would cry when I was on the elliptical. Like that went on for months. That was a true story. And I can remember I would be so frustrated because it was just so hard. I would bang on the wall just to try and get through it. It was horrible. So I told that story because I feel like a lot of people see that and relate to it. What else? Oh, and and things like, I love quotes. I always have. I live by quotes. So when I find one that speaks to me, I save it. And when I post about it, I try to intertwine my specific struggles to the quote. So rather than just posting it, I try and say things like, so for the quote, I'm not trying to be better than anyone except myself yesterday, something like that. Rather than just posting that, I try and say stuff like, I don't worry about the person on the treadmill next to me doing sprints at 10 miles an hour and get down on myself because I'm only doing them at 9, because that happens to me. I try to remember that sprints for me used to be, 6 or 7 miles an hour. So, things like that. I try to be specific. Or the relay that I do every year. I don't worry about the fact that my other teammates, are such good runners. One of them does like a 3-hour marathon. I don't think about that. I just remember that I before literally couldn't run for 15 seconds without getting winded. So just stuff like that, and now I'm confident enough to do the relay and run 7 miles, in an hour. I mean, whether I take breaks or not, that's not something I could do before, not even close. So just like that, I try to be specific with the quote and relate it more to my situation. Like during the 21-day fix workouts, that's one thing I try to realize too. It's like people think that because I'm in pretty good shape, that you can do any move, whatever. And I try to, tell them that I can't. Like during the 21-day fix workouts, I make sure to let them know that I have to modify moves, or that I can't even do a burpee. I like telling people that just so they know I'm still in the struggle with them. So yeah, just using specific examples in the quotes. I really try and do that. The next thing that I try and do, and this was something I didn't do in the beginning, but I heard it in one of these team calls, is using your personal page. Laura stressed that. And I remember thinking, well, no, I think I'm still going to use my like page, but maybe I'll give this whole personal page thing a try. And I'm so glad I did, because that it was in the call, one of the new, common mistakes new coaches make, or something like that. So anyway, what I started doing is, instead of just posting on my like page, I would literally copy and paste the posts to my personal page. And it's insane, you guys. I do it word for word, the exact same picture, exact same emojis, whatever. And I will get I made a post about my husband and I moving to Colorado just a few weeks back, and it got 120 likes on my like page, or on my personal page. But on my like page, it literally got 10, I don't know, the exact same posts. And I've tried testing it to see if maybe people aren't, they maybe in their minds, they're like, well, I already liked it on this page, so I'm not going to like it on this page. So I've tested it a little bit. I'll wait and post things hours apart, or I won't post one I'll post it one day on my like page, and I'll post the exact same thing the next day on my personal one. And it always gets so many more likes. It's insane. So I don't know. I've kind of laid off my, my like page recently just for that reason. I need to work on that. But anyway, yeah, I just copy and paste it word for word, and I always get a ton more traffic through that. So I realize that's important now. But I do want to work on my like page more, because I know that, through that you can boost your posts and generate new people and things like that. So anyway, let's see. I'll go to the next slide. So the next thing, this is kind of vague, but I talked about this a little bit already, but I try to be honest. I share my struggles, and I want to show people that I relate to them. I have shared, honestly, some of the most embarrassing moments that I've had during my journey, like falling on the elliptical. And to a point, I think that people do need to see pictures of you flexing and, seeing the stuff that you're proud of, because that's good motivation. But they need you to be real too. I have gotten so many personal messages of people saying, a few people just saying, thanks for being real. Just last night, one of the girls in my challenge group sent me a personal message and said something like, she told me how she's tried some of these groups before with different companies, and she never felt connected in them. She never stuck with it. And she said she feels like it's different this time. And she said it's because I'm so real. And she just wanted to thank me for that. So I think being honest is really important. And she told me in the beginning too, before she even signed up, she said, you seem knowledgeable, motivational, and real. And that's what I need, word for word. And that meant a lot to me when she said that, I guess, because I do try to share some of my more embarrassing moments. And I just try to post what I like to see, and that kind of goes along with what Jess and Laura are always telling us. You attract your tribe. So yeah, you're not going to get everybody, but you're going to get the people that connect with you. And that's all that matters. I always think of this. There's this girl that I used to follow on Instagram. Her name's Callie Burns, and she is like the epitome of, the online fitness entrepreneurs. Her body is perfect. Like in my mind, she weighs like 115 pounds and like she posts all these bikini pictures and she looks amazing. You can see like every muscle on her body. I mean, so I would always follow her for like her tips and stuff like that. But the more I realized it, like to me, she looks like flawless, but that's kind of the problem. She's not, it almost feels not realistic. So I realized the more and more that I would see her Instagram, I kept getting so down on myself. Like I would think, I work my butt off and I don't even look anything close to what she looks like. So, and that just kind of hit me one day, like, well, so I might not be completely ripped or whatever like she is, but I've still come a long way. I mean, I've lost 75 pounds and that's not easy to do. And actually seeing her on Instagram was kind of making me get down on myself. So I stopped following her page. And I mean, not that you have to do that with everybody, obviously, but it was wearing on me. And I kind of realized that a few weeks after I started following her page. So I actually unfollowed her. Because yeah, it was making me feel not good about my own progress. So, and it's things like when people hear that I enjoy running, their minds automatically go to, oh, she can probably run a marathon. She runs, miles and miles a week. And I don't. I run maybe 15 miles a week, but that's where people's minds go. So I try to be honest and let them know, like when I do my 7-mile selfie or whatever every Tuesday, I try and post about that, like how many breaks I took, how I literally think about quitting the run 2 miles in every single Tuesday. I think that. So I just try to share stuff like that. I want people to know that I am always working on myself too. Like every time I do a workout or every time I'm running, it's challenging for me too. It's not like I get on there and it's, a cakewalk. It's always hard for me. I share about how I could eat my weight in cashews, and usually I do. Like if I buy a bag of cashews, I eat it in an hour. And I always tell people that because again, they think that I eat so clean and all this stuff. They think that I don't have, slip ups with food, and I do every single week. They just want to see that you're like them. They want to know that you have the same thoughts and struggles as them, and but you haven't let them stop you. So I think being honest is honestly probably what I contribute most of my success so far to, is just I try to make it so that people can relate. The next thing that I do, I maybe shouldn't have termed it that way on the slide, but I add random people. I go through Facebook for probably a solid half an hour a day, and I just add people because I know that most of them are not going to accept it. So I kind of have in my head, like for every, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 people that I add, literally maybe 2 or 3 of them accept it. So I just add as many as I can. And some people you're going to get a rude reaction out of. I've already gotten messages where they're like, how do I know you? I don't need, they'll add me and then message me and be kind of rude and then delete me, which is weird, but whatever. So sometimes you're going to get a rude reaction, but then you're going to get people that are really awesome. I actually am meeting a girl tomorrow here in Fort Collins for coffee, and I've never met her. She was just some person I added randomly. So some people are really nice, and they're really, they enjoy meeting new people as well, and they'll respond to you and they'll keep messaging you back. So you just got to keep going until you get those people, because they're not all going to be rude. The one place I really like to go and do it is Fort Collins Rummage. I know that most towns have a Facebook page like that, like a classifieds or an online garage sale. So that's where I get most of my people that will accept it. Actually, I go there every single day, and all the new people that post on the Rummage site, I just add them. And you want people who are obviously somewhat interested in fitness or getting healthier. So I'll go to the pages that I like to follow on those topics. Like I go to Fitness Magazine, or I'll go to Pop Sugar, and I'll add the people that comment on the threads. But I have a lot better results with people accepting my request when they see that I live in the area, or like if I add friends of, mutual friends of people that I already have on Facebook. I have a lot more success with those guys. So I mostly stick to them, but just because they know you're not spam that way. But yeah. So the next thing, when they add me, the next thing that I do is I message them, and I'll just say, it depends on where I added them from. Like if I get them from the Fort Collins Rummage site, I'll just add, I'll message them and say, hey, thanks for the ad. I'm just trying to meet some new people in this area and things like that. And I just think the messaging is important, because this is one thing that I've realized in my few weeks so far. People who are thinking about making a change, and people that want to do it, most of them are not going to reach out to you first. But my posting made this easier, because I'll message someone, and I took Laura's advice, I'll look for the people who I added but have never met that like my posts. And, I'll say, thanks for showing my post some love. And then I just try to keep the conversation going. So like I said, the Fort Collins Rummage people, that's where I'll say, I want to meet new people in the area, or I'll reach out to an old friend or an old coworker and just say, hey, long time no see. I saw this post, your kids are, it is fun to see pictures of their kids. So that's one way I like to connect with people is doing that. And actually they'll then say, most people, when I message them, will say, by the way, congratulations on your health journey. You're so inspiring. I love seeing your posts. And they'll almost start the conversation with, what advice do you have for me or whatever. And that is such an easy in to say, well, by the way, I have this challenge group starting. It just blows my mind how they won't reach out first. But if you message them, they'll just type away and kind of, spew their whole situation and tell you everything. So they'll give you easy ends. What else do I have? Sorry, I just want to stay on track on my notes. But yeah, I'll start talking about the challenge group. And even if they say no, I'll listen to their reason. And, I let them know I understand, because I really do. Like when Laura first started messaging me, I told her no like 4 times, so I just keep messaging them. And I really do understand, because I understand that it's hard. I had the same hesitations. I asked me to tell their reason and try and explain around it, help, if time's an issue, you explain that, just things like that. So I ask them if I can follow up with them, because it seems that's another thing I learned from these calls. It seems way less annoying and salesy if you ask permission to follow up, because then they know it's coming. If you follow up in a month, they can't be annoyed and say, oh, she won't quit messaging me about Beachbody, whatever. And everybody, I've not ever had one person say no to that. But yeah, and then, I don't completely cut off contact with them. Like I have a lot of people that will say no about the challenge pack, but they keep messaging me and, want a recipe or they want advice, and I always try and help them out. I mean, it's not just about the money. It's, we're in this to help people. So I always will take time and call them or whatever they want and give them advice, help them with the meal plan. I've actually helped a few people already set up a meal plan, and they haven't even bought a challenge pack. So, but those people are going to be more likely to come back to you in the future when they do decide they're ready to do the group or, coaching too. So messaging, you have to be proactive about messaging. I think you cannot wait for people to message you, because like I said, they will start the conversation. They'll see that you are into fitness, and they'll, if they like anything even sort of related, they'll give you the in, and that kind of makes it easy. The next thing that I have kind of weird, and this one's kind of time consuming, but I don't have a ton of people on Facebook, but I have enough now from adding all the random people that I don't see most of their stuff in my news feed. And now that I started coaching, I don't really like mindlessly scroll through Facebook anymore either. So I don't see a lot of people's posts and all that, and what they're doing and stuff. So what I do is I go, and it's easier I think everything's easier on a phone, but that's just because I'm more used to that. I'll go to my personal page, and then I go to friends. And then you go to the part where it says, or recent friends. And I literally go down the entire list of all the new people that I've added. And I try not to bombard them, because, when you see that someone's liked like 5 of your things, you're kind of like, oh, I know they're stalking me. So I'll just try and like, 2 or 3 of their posts and comment on one that I can relate to. If they post something about their kiddos, I'll talk about that because I have 2 little step girls, or, things like that. If they post something about health and fitness, obviously I'm all over that, so I'll comment on it, because I feel like when you do this, you're more casually interacting with them. You're not just, I don't like to just message people and say, hey, I have a challenge starting, are you interested in that? You want to develop kind of a relationship with them first. I want them to see me as more than like, I want them to kind of see me as just one of their other Facebook friends too, not, oh, that Beachbody coach I have on Facebook. So I go through each person, and I don't get to this every day, but I make sure to do it 4 or 5 times a week. Again, just go through each one of your random friends or your recent friends and comment on it. Comment on one of their things. I just try to do that to make it a little bit more personal. And plus it's an easy way to get to know them. So, like if Mallory, say, if I was going through her Facebook and she ends up messaging me, I can ask her, how's Keely doing? Or how's Shannon doing? Congrats on graduating with your master's degree. That's amazing. Because then it just looks like you're more in tune with the people that you have on Facebook. You're not just trying to make a sale out of them. And I think they appreciate that a lot more. Yeah, I think that's, those are, I guess, the 6 things that I make sure to kind of do every day. I don't know if that was long enough, but those are what I really feel like has helped me. Those are the things I try to do daily. So.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. Oh my word.
Yeah.
Do you want to unscreen share, and we can like give everybody a chance to ask questions if they have questions? I love the rando thing. I love that.
I feel bad. I don't mean for that to sound crappy. And I was going to change that and I forgot. I won't lie. So,
You know what, though? You're building your cold market from the start, which is
yeah,
really good. I mean, as long as you go through and you clear those old friend requests out like once a week or something,
I do.
you're
I
good.
try and give it I try and do it about once a week because I remember you telling me about, Facebook will get on you for that. So I'll usually do one day where I don't add, and my mind thinks weird. So I'll do one day where I don't add anybody because I'll use that day like, okay, maybe some people will accept my request today. I don't want to go through and delete them all if some of them I just tried adding this morning. So
Right.
I usually have one day where I don't even add new people. And then the next day I'll undo all the requests, which is always a lot that haven't accepted it. And then I'll just start over. So
Wait, what are you talking about? Undo. Where is that?
If you go, I can never, I have to find everything on my phone. Let me pop
Yeah,
it
I'm
up.
on my phone right now too. So.
Okay. So go to your Facebook
Okay.
and go to your personal page
Okay.
and then go to friends.
Okay.
And then you'll see there's like a little plus sign in the top right.
Yeah.
See that? And then you see request, or go on the very right and you see outgoing, but it doesn't even show the whole word. And then you have to undo all of those requests.
Oh boy.
Yeah, right? I know. It usually takes me like a solid minute to undo all of them.
This is like.
I know. It's amazing how many people won't accept your request if they don't know you.
Wait,
Oh my
I don't know.
God.
I'm not seeing this. So you go to, I always do it from my computer. So you go to your personal page and you go to friends.
Yep, I go to friends and then go to there's like a plus sign on the top right.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the very far right, on my phone, it doesn't even show the whole word. It says outgoing.
Oh, yeah.
Like it cuts it off because I don't have like the big iPhone or whatever.
Oh, my goodness.
I have so many. This is
You
bad.
know what, though? This is, oh, I'm so glad you showed this because on the computer, you have to right click on the thing and then click on request. So that's like 2 steps. And this just is a button. You just push undo. That seems like it would be way faster.
And see, then I'm going to bother people because I'm going to wind up re-requesting them.
I know. I've thought about that too, but oh well.
You know what, though? I have re-requested people before, and they come back and they'll accept the second time.
Yeah, I've had a few people do that.
Because it's not like necessarily that they're denying your friend request. They just might have like clicked their notification and it's just like sitting in there.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's
I've
true.
had that happen to me where I've seen people try to add me and I just have so many notifications. I won't even see the friend request. So that's why I try and give it a few days before I undo all of them.
Oh, wow. This is like 5 billion times faster than the other way. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Does anybody have questions or anything? Oh, I had one question. I'm sorry. So how long, you said you do like a power hour every day, right? So do you have other times of the day that you're working, or how are you working that out with all your jobs that you're doing and everything?
It depends on the day. So most days I have to be to work by 10 or 11, and I always try and squeeze in a few messages in the morning, but a lot of the times, like when I work at the grocery store, I have breaks, and my breaks, I always am like checking notifications or I'll send messages, but it's mostly when I get home. I spend like probably 2 or 3 hours a night on it. I get home, eat dinner, and then I just like spend the rest of the night on coaching. But if it's a day where like on Thursdays, I don't have to be to work until 1:30, I usually get more time. I mostly do it in the morning just because I don't get home until 10, and then I have to be back to work at 10 on Friday for a 12-hour shift. So Thursday I do it in the morning, but.
Good. That's good. That's great that you have the focus time that you can work your business.
Yeah, my brain's too anxious to like, I don't know. If I didn't do it, I would just be feeling guilty and sitting there and thinking about it. So
That's where I'm having trouble is like finding that set time. You know, like I have 2 kids running around. I'm running my own cleaning business and all this stuff. And then, the coaching. And I just feel like I'm everywhere. And
well,
I just,
I have it a little bit easier than most of you ladies because my stepdaughters aren't here. We only have them on my husband's days off, and I don't have the same days off as him. So I definitely have a little bit more free time outside of, you know, my job that I have to clock into than you guys do. So, but
that's awesome.
I have a question. So, say you like add a random person and they accept, and then they message you and say, "How do I know you?" And where do you go from there? Because I don't want to be like, "Oh, I don't actually know you. I'm just your friendly neighborhood beach body coach." You know.
no, that's so.
How do you kind of make that conversation sound natural and not like salesy? That's something I've been struggling with.
I actually had that just happen to me today, and it is always awkward, and I usually don't even respond right away because I want to try and make it sound as natural as possible. So I wait and respond, and like I'll make sure that I remark the message as unread so I don't forget to reply to them. And then, you know, if they're from so I'm from North Dakota originally. So if they're from North Dakota, that's kind of a lame in, but that's what I use. Like if they ask, "How do I know you?" I just say, "Oh, I'm just trying to connect with some new people. I'm actually from North Dakota." And I hate to admit this, but with a few people, I will act like they look familiar. So if I add people from the town that I'm from, I will message them and say, "Hey, this is random. I'm so sorry to bother you, but you look so familiar. Did you go?" You know, and then what I say is I ask them if they went to the college that I went to. So I went to school at DSU, and I'll be like, "Did you go to DSU from 2007 to 2011? And they never did because I know who they are normally. But you know, it just depends on, that's the biggest thing I do with people from back home. With people in Colorado, I just say, "You know, I don't know you. I'm just trying to connect with some new people," you know, and, but yeah, I do with the people, I just pretend like they have a familiar face. And I hate to say that, but I've done it a lot.
That's what I do too.
You got to do what you got to do sometimes. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I just say, I've also said, "I don't know if I know you, but you look so familiar." Or I'll say like, "Well, I don't know if we've met, but we have so many mutual friends that I figure we must have like ran into each other at some point," or something like that.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Or
I have like 60 mutual friends with them. I'll message them if they say, "Do I know you?" They're like, "I'm not sure, but I know we have a lot of mutual friends in common. So I don't know if I ran into you at the grocery store or maybe at the gym or something." And then it kind of like if you start off saying, you know, maybe I met you at the gym or something, then it starts working into health and fitness.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's really good.
yeah, and to me, like if you are a Beachbody coach on your Facebook page and when they go to your profile, they see what you're doing, I don't think it's weird to be like, "No, I don't know you, but I saw your face when I was on my Facebook. I saw your face on my suggested friends, and you just looked like somebody I thought I knew, and so I clicked on your page, and you just look like such a nice, we have a lot in common, and I love meeting other women. I've met so many great women online, whatever." And
Yeah,
like
I bluntly tell people. Sometimes I bluntly tell people, I'm like, "I don't really know you, but I'd like to try to connect with new people because I'm just a social person."
Yeah. That's
You know,
usually what I end up saying.
Because then you're starting the honesty from the start. You know, you want to be honest with your people.
Yeah.
And the more honest you are and the sooner you are, I feel like you act better.
Yeah, they don't feel deceived that way, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the longer you stick with it, the easier it's going to be, because the longer you stick with it, the more, like you were saying, some people just like bring up the fitness to you.
Yeah.
Because they already, like when you friend request them, if you have your page set up in such a way that makes you look like a knowledgeable coach, they're going to be like, "Oh, this knowledgeable coach message, just friend requested me. Oh my word. I was just thinking like a couple of days ago, I needed to like get in shape. Who's this person? Maybe she can help me." So, if you show your value, people will see it. People will see the value.
Yeah. I had a girl that I added yesterday, and she was the one that said, "How do I know you?" And I immediately got nervous. I was like, "Oh crap. Okay. How am I going to word this?" And she was from North Dakota. So that's the end that I used. And she was like, "Yeah, I stalked your page and saw that you're into fitness. I'm actually a bit of a gym rat myself." And I was like, "Sweet, perfect in." So I've kind of been talking to her a little bit, but.
Cool.
And then I know you ladies were asking about how you guys schedule like your power hour and stuff. I literally, because I struggled with that because I go to school and I work full time, I got a planner that has it all broke down with the times and the hours. And I literally wrote when I was going to do my power hour. And that's when I told myself I have to sit down, because if not, I was not getting it in. Like, you have to schedule yourself. Like, I have my whole week just like planned out. It's just like one of these basic planners that just schedules everything right out. And then I write down what my team calls are, and then this one, Jess Lofter actually posted this one on her Facebook, so I ended up getting it. But it says what your daily task is. And I write like what my theme is going to be for that day. Like, am I going to post about Shakeology that day? Am I going to like post a motivation thing? Am I going to post about my workout? So then it kind of gives you an idea of what to post about.
That's a good idea. So before we jump off of here, I just want to like remind everybody that the UV2 is releasing this week. And I know Matt's making Jess laugh right now. Anyway, don't discount this program, you guys. I got to try it. It was really fun. And I've been talking about it with so many people. And it is like, if you listen to the National Wake Up Call, if you didn't listen to it. And I love when they come on and they talk about the new programs, because if you just like take notes and listen to Leandro talk and listen to Carl talk about it, it's going to give you all the words you need in all of your posts, So, even if you don't plan on doing the whole program, when it releases, I would get on there and at least try it out. And if you have kids, the new kids channel is releasing, and I'm about to go live about it tomorrow. I'm so excited about it. It's half the screen's a kid doing the workout, and the other half is your workout with the trainers doing the same workout. And how awesome and appealing is that? That like opens us up to so many things. Imagine, and I know I want to do this soon, like for the summer, like during the summer when your kids are home with you, mom and kid like support group, or mom and kid, mommy and me like free workout group or something. Oh my gosh, that's what I actually just thought of that just now. But that's a great idea. Like think outside the box with this, you guys. If you have kids, this is huge. I mean, and even if you don't have kids, it's still something that you could, show your moms and people that that have
It's
kids.
so funny that you said the mommy and me, because I was talking to a few people and I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to start like a mom and me, with any kid. It could be a daughter, a son, whatever. I said, because, we're doing the family is, it's all in with the family now. I'm like, this is going to be great. So I like that idea.
Yeah, and it's not just the UV2 program. They're getting tons and tons of different workouts that are going to have that kids screen on it. So that'd be such a cool free group for you to do, or even like a meetup and have the kids there and have the kids screen. And oh man, I'm going to get really excited just talking about it. Yeah, so that's exciting. So do you guys have any other questions or any other stuff you wanted to talk about or anything? Okay, cool. Well, we'll go ahead and jump off of here. And thank you so much, Hilary. That was such an awesome call, awesome information. And, it just goes to show that you don't have to have been a coach for years and years and years to have success. You can just start where you're at, and it's all about just putting the time in and being, like she said, being real and just doing the program and just getting the results and sharing about it with people. So, okay. Well, you guys have a good night, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.